I wrote this essay for the second major assignment in my first-year writing seminar. The seminar examined U.S. foreign policy in the Cold War, and the assignment demanded a comparison of two novels we were reading, The Quiet American by Graham Greene and The Ugly American by William J. Lederer and Eugene Burdick. We had a choice between two topics, and I chose the topic that seemed most straightforward to me, analyzing the novel's treatment of what it means to be American in the Cold War. In writing this paper, I realized the importance of simplicity, depth, and clarity. Before I began writing, I knew I wanted this paper to be analytical and focused. I thought that instead of trying to write about many concepts but only covering them on a surface level, I would focus on one specific topic and explore it in great depth and detail, producing thoughtful insights. I think I ultimately accomplished that by focusing on the overarching theme of idealism, but this didn't happen right away. At first, I tried to identify a complex central argument with many layers. Since it was a compare and contrast essay, I wanted to find either a difference within a similarity or a similarity within a difference so that I could discuss both under the same overarching idea. I eventually decided that idealism would be my central idea that related the novels. However, I still didn't have a difference. Reading over my ideas, which I had written on a Word document, I thought that I might take a more evaluative approach and argue that one novel made idealism more central to American identity than the other did. However, I struggled to tie all my ideas together and even understand my own arguments. In the end, taking a writing studio consultant's advice, I started with a simpler idea that I felt comfortable arguing, where the main difference would be in the methods that characters use to achieve their idealistic goals. Then I thought more deeply about that idea. Instead of merely asserting that the characters' actions were different, I challenged myself to consider why this was the case. What motivated their actions? Why did they differ? I realized that the actions that characters took reflected their own fundamental assumptions. Their actions spoke volumes about their beliefs. And knowing that beliefs are just as important to identity as actions, I decided to write about what characters' actions revealed about their beliefs. Instead of starting out with a complex and nuanced idea, I started with a simple one and tried to unpack it and delve deeper. In such a way, I learned the value of simplicity and clarity in writing. What matters is not so much complexity, but rather clarity and thought. It was clarity and reflection that ultimately helped me achieve depth and cohesion. In addition to learning about the writing process itself, I gained insight into discipline-specific aims, methods, and perspectives. This assignment intertwined history and literature, requiring me to compare and contrast literary texts that were grounded in historical realities. Initially, I had wondered why my professor wanted us to read novels instead of history books for this paper. But in the process of writing the paper, I realized the value of interdisciplinarity. The assignment ultimately combined everything I love about both history and literature, with each subject enhancing the other. Literature took on historical, social, and political significance because I was grappling with the novel's implications for foreign policy, impacts on public opinion, and ideas about American identity in the context of the Cold War. Fiction became fact. And while history textbooks might have given me more factual knowledge, these literary works helped me understand the issues at hand on an emotional level. It became more than words on a page. I felt like I was living the history. Ultimately, I gained an epistemological insight I had been trying to articulate for months. I realized that both disciplines express the stories of people, but while history tells, literature shows, and both perspectives are valuable.